depends on the customer's requirements. Some customers would want an external lab to do testing on the final product to make sure it did what it said. Other customers would be happy with our own internal testing in the lab. And of course, our testing labs were both testing final products, but also testing prototyping and also testing new product development as they went through as well. So our labs were there to not only just offer a service to the customer, but also as part of the R&D going forward.
And is it part of the testing as well when you were developing a custom-made, let's say you have a pre-cured foam or a film or something that you, the customer said, I want this type of shielding properties, etc. Would you formulate and make that product in-house and then supply the data accordingly for it? Specifically, if you talk about automotive, they're requiring all the testing data. They're requiring, a consistency of supply, or quality over time. So, or would you work with your partners who develop the material themselves, the chemical companies, or how would you do that?
Well, it depends on the type of material, obviously. I mean, we were not a chemical company, so we would buy in fillers. Sometimes we would make our own fillers, some of them we did, but in terms of the testing environment, yes. I mean, we would have to supply a full range of tests, both in terms of the conductivity, the spec, but also in terms of if it was products that were being used in a harsher environment, you've got weather testing, etc., etc. So a full range of tests has to be provided. And you're right, the automotive sector is much more demanding than most because they want testing for everything, and it has to be in depth and it has to be right. And the other thing with the automotive industry, which is less so in the other electronic sector, is they want to audit your plants. So where you manufacture the product, you've got to have that as an accredited automotive production plant. So they will come and audit you to make sure your plant can make the product to the specification, and it will be made to the specification every time. Yeah.
So you were doing all the PPAP documentation and all that for the OEMs or for the tier ones?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So again, it's just another barrier to entry. It's very difficult for, you take a small Chinese manufacturer with a range of products that he's probably picked up off the internet somewhere, and they will never crack that market.
Yeah. So do you see, because we see many Chinese companies, do you see they are more focused in their own region, or do you see those Chinese as well expanding it beyond?
I've very rarely in my time seen the Chinese get much beyond China, and in some of the instances I've seen Chinese companies supply Western. It's been very rare, and it hasn't lasted very long. And part of that is there's a real concern amongst the Western OEMs about the quality of the product you get, but also more importantly, coming back to my point about IP, have these Chinese companies paid any attention whatsoever to the IP on the product? And would the OEMs be faced with a global recall should there be a patent infringement somewhere? So, and the Chinese companies don't help themselves because, we had a phone call from Philips telling us that we were in trouble because a lot of their LEDs lamps were catching fire. This is a thermal product of ours. And we had to say to them, well, we don't supply you with a thermal product, your LED lamp. And they sent us a sample, and it had Laird Technologies on it, it had a part number on it, that had never seen the inside of one of our plants. And it was just full of rubbish.
Wow.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's why, a lot of the OEMs are very, very wary